Chapter 1004, The Old Master has recovered. Hence, Mu Ling had forgiven Chen Qingyang even if she had harmed the Old Master. He knew that Chen Qingyang was not a tough lady. She could not live without him. However, Mu Ling did not know if he could forgive Chen Qingyang this time. Seeing Mu Ling sinking into silence, Chen Qingyang got the message. She smiled wryly and let go of Mu Ling's hands. Brother Ling, I get you. Previously, I wanted to offer up my life as penance, but you have stopped me. This time, please don't stop me again. Whoosh. With a flick of a sleeve, a dagger appeared in Chen Qingyang's hand as she stabbed her own belly forcefully. Well, it was a dagger and not a long sword. The dagger was thrust toward Chen Qingyang's belly and not her heart. In a split second, the dagger dug into Chen Qingyang's skin. Blood could be seen spurting out of her belly. Chen Qingyang stumbled backward, her face was sickly pale. Seeing this, Mu Huan and Mu Xi's faces darkened as they stumbled backward. They did not manage to stop Chen Qingyang in time. Hence, they could only stare at Chen Qingyang. Qingyang. Mu Ling opened his eyes only to see Chen Qingyang was falling backward. Bursting with rage, he quickly rushed over and held her before she fell to the ground. Qingyang, what are you doing? Are you a fool? Why did you do this? Mu Ling stretched his quivering hand to stroke Qingyang's face. Overwhelmed with distress, Mu Ling did not notice that Chen Qingyang had only hurt her belly. Qingyang, don't scare me. Why are you doing such a foolish thing? I am not angry anymore. I am not angry at you anymore, Mu Ling whimpered, his eyes were filled with panic. Mu Ling was petrified. He was so afraid that once Qingyang fell down, she would never rise again. Back off. Mu Huan quickly rushed over and pushed Mu Ling away. Her face was covered with tears as she glared at Mu Ling. Father, you have forced my mother to want to die. Are you happy now? I want to save her. All of you get out of here. Mu Ling had nearly fallen down after being pushed by Mu Huan, but he was not the slightest indignant. He stared blankly at Chen Qingyang, who was lying in a pool of blood. Seeing how Mu Ling cared for Chen Qingyang, Feng Ruking's heart had nearly softened. She left Nanxian's arms and walked up to Chen Qingyang. If one looked attentively at Chen Qingyang, it was not hard to notice that there was a hint of a smile at the corner of her lips. In fact, Chen Qingyang was taking a flyer on Mu Ling's love for her. Apparently, she had won. What are you doing? Seeing Feng Ruqing coming her way, Mu Huan was blazing with anger as she snarled. Me for extra chapters. Save her. As soon as Feng Ruqing was done speaking, she took a fruit out of the medium and put it into Chen Qingyang's mouth. Feng Ruking's movement was way too fast that Mu Huan did not manage to stop her. At this time, Mu Ling regained his consciousness. Seeing Feng Ruqing feeding Chen Qingyang something that simply no one knew what it was, he was engulfed with rage. Just as Mu Ling wanted to rush up to Feng Ruqing, Nanxian rushed over and stood before Feng Ruqing. Nanxian's chilly gaze swept over Mu Ling. Mu Ling's hands could not help but quiver in fear. However, his worry toward Center Qingyang had overtaken his fear. Stay away. Don't touch her. Mu Ling had pushed Qingyang into the corner. If he could not protect Chen Qingyang this time, he should not be called a man. As soon as the fruit got into Chen Qingyang's body, she looked much better and the blood stopped oozing from the wound. Chapter 1005, The Old Master has recovered. Chen Qingyang's eyes widened in bewilderment and then it was overtaken by resentment. I am still alive. Why didn't you let me die? I have made so many mistakes. I must offer up my life as a penance. Why are you saving me? Qingyang. Mu Ling was overjoyed. Just as he wanted to rush up to Chen Qingyang, Feng Ruqing shot Mu Ling a glance. Nanxian, stop him. As soon as Feng Ruqing finished her words, a young master in a white robe stood before Mu Ling, stopping him from moving further. Currently, the old master and everyone present were taking Feng Ruking's side. The people of the Mu family were burning with rage as Chen Qingyang had used up too much spirit herbs from the Mu family. They were no longer defending Chen Qingyang. They did not even care if she died. The relationship between these people and Chen Qingyang was built on spirit herbs. Without spirit herbs, Chen Qingyang was nothing. Naturally, no one would spare her a glance now. Bang! Feng Ruqing took out a long sword and threw it on the ground, right before Chen Qingyang. If you truly want to offer up your life to prove your innocence, I could give you a hand. However, I must remind you that since you have decided to take your own life, please thrust this sword right in your heart. The stab just now was too light and has only hurt your skin. You have even avoided all the organs just now. Since you want to die, stab it right in your heart. No one can save you by then. Chen Qingyan's face stiffened. She lowered her eyes to look at the long sword. Then, she raised her head only to see Feng Ruqing with a spurious smile on her face. She could feel a chill from her feet all the way up into her heart. Feng Ruqing. Mu Huan exploded with rage. Mu Huan's voice annoyed Feng Ruqing. She kicked Mu Huan and sent her falling into the crowd. A few people quickly rushed over and held onto Mu Huan's body, so she could not move the slightest. Originally, Mu Shi had wanted to move forward. Seeing this, he stood still and dared not move. Currently, Chen Qingyang was the only one who had confronted Feng Ruqing in the clan's hall. You may start now. Since you are highly principled, you know that you have made a mistake and wanted to die to clear your name. I am truly impressed. Hence, I am giving you a chance to do this. Come on, take this sword and stab it right here. You will soon be in Elysium. Feng Ruqing looked down at Chen Qingyang. Feng Ruqing forcefully took Chen Qingyan's hand to hold onto the sword and made a gesture toward Chen Qingyan's heart. Are you a demon? Can't you see that Chen Qingyang is so frightened and has nearly turned into a stone? The people of the Mu family were dumbfounded. However, seeing Chen Qingyan's reaction, the people of the Mu family could not help laughing at themselves. Perhaps Chen Qingyang had shown her true colors. Everything that she did was nothing but a lie. Me for extra chapters. Nanxian, stay away, Mu Ling snarled. Currently, Chen Qingyan's safety was the only thing in his mind. If you dare to move a little, I will kill both of you, Nanxian said blandly. His face was nonchalant. Nanxian's words carried great weight. Mu Ling quickly calmed down and did not utter a word. He knew that Nanxian always kept his words. If he continued, Nanxian would surely kill him and Chen Qingyang. Perhaps, he would even lay a hand on Mu Huan and Mu Shi. Qingyang, stay calm or you may lose your life. Mu Ling could not help but stare at Chen Qingyang anxiously. His hands were covered with cold sweat. Sure enough, Chen Qingyang did not stab the sword in her heart. Was it proof that she was acting just now? Chapter 1006. Jiyusha's trick. Mu Ling was staring at Chen Qingyang with mixed feelings in his heart. He did not look away even for a second. Currently, no one felt worse than Mu Ling himself. Your hands are quivering. I thought you want to offer up your life to clear your name. What are you doing now? You don't want to die. Well, if you really want to die, I can give you a hand. Hold this sword properly and I will stab you. You don't need to thank me for this. Feng Ruqing glanced at Chen Qingyan's trembling hands. Feng Ruqing's hand moved slightly. Before the sword reached Chen Qingyan's heart, a loud scream sounded. In a split second, Chen Qingyang loosened the sword in her grip and took a few steps backward. No. Chen Qingyang did not want to die. If she died, she would lose everything she had. The sword fell to the ground from Chen Qingyan's hand. Beads of cold sweats could be seen covering her forehead. Her eyes were filled with panic, her face was drained of any color. Seeing Chen Qingyan's flustered appearance, Mu Ling was no longer worried. It turned out that Chen Qingyang was afraid of death. Chen Qingyang had played the same trick twice, offering up her life to prove her innocence, and Mu Ling had actually bought into it and forgiven all her wrongdoings. Since Chen Qingyang was so afraid of death, she would never have taken her life to clear her name. Ridiculously, Mu Ling had always trusted her with all his heart. Brother Ling, Chen Qingyang looked at Mu Ling anxiously. Her eyes met Mu Ling's eyes that were filled with despair. Twice, Chen Qingyang had nearly put the entire Mu family into huge troubles. However, Mu Ling had forgiven her over and over again. Apparently, Chen Qingyang had a special place in Mu Ling's heart. It was all because Mu Ling had a soft heart. He could not bear seeing Chen Qingyang dead. Hence, he had forgiven her. Brother Ling, Listen to me. Whoosh. Just as Chen Qingyang wanted to approach Mu Ling, the sword in Feng Ruking's hand dug into Chen Qingyin's belly. Before the wound on her belly was fully recovered, the sword stabbed her again. Quivering in pain, Chen Qingyang raised her head to stare at Feng Ruqing. A look of shock and disbelief crept into Chen Qingyin's eyes. Feng Ruqing had actually stabbed Chen Qingyang before everyone's eyes. I healed your wound just now. Now that I have stabbed you, we are even. Since your daughter wants to save you, I will not get myself involved. Feng Ruqing grinned. Since I am capable of healing your wound, I could make the wound back to how it was before. Moreover, Feng Ruqing had purposely stabbed her at the same wound. The pain had actually hurt more than when Chen Qingyang stabbed herself. Me for extra chapters. Blood spurted out of the wound in her belly. When Feng Ruqing drew out the sword, Chen Qingyang held her belly and fell to the ground. Mother! Mu Huan's eyes reddened. As no one was stopping her, she shouted at the top of her voice. On the contrary, Mu Shi stared coldly at Feng Ruqing. Seeing his mother falling to the ground, he did not have a big reaction. He merely walked up to her with his face darkened. Feng, are you? Qing, you must pay for the things that you have done. Mu Huan's eyes locked on Feng Ruqing. Feng Ruqing shrugged casually and turned to look at the people of the Mu family with a smile on her face. Did she say that she wanted to offer her life to prove her innocence? Startled, the people of the Mu family looked at Feng Ruqing's grinning face. Currently, Feng Ruqing looked like a demon waving at them. The people of the Mu family were a little afraid of Feng Ruqing at the birthday feast. Now, they were extremely frightened and dared not to offend Feng Ruqing. You are right. Just now, Lady Qingyang. It was Aunt Qingyang who wanted to offer her life to clear her name. Oh, if that is the case, have I done anything wrong? I was just helping her. She wanted to offer her life to clear her name. She was so resolute, but I have saved her. Not only did she not thank me, but she also blamed me for saving her. Hence, I am helping her now, Feng Ruqing said innocently. Chapter 1007, Jiyusha's Trick to You. Mu Huan stared at Feng Ruqing, her eyes were filled with resentment. I told you. I saved her just now, but she did not thank me. On the contrary, she had blamed me for saving her. I am such an empathetic person. Hence, I have fulfilled her wish by stabbing her. What have I done wrong? Feng Ruqing smiled even brighter. This lady is truly vicious. Feng Ruqing's remark sent a chill down everyone's spine. However, no matter what they have in their minds, they were too afraid to show on their faces. Young Lady Feng is right. She is just helping Aunt Qingyang. Young Lady Feng is right. She has saved Aunt Qingyang, but Aunt Qingyang blamed her for saving her. It is natural for young Lady Feng to undo the healing. Young Lady Feng is just fulfilling Aunt Qingyang's wish. Aunt Qingyang has taken so many spirit herbs from the Mu family. This time, she must not use any spirit herb from the Mu family again. Young Lady Mu Huan, you must find a way to save Aunt Qingyang yourself. There is not much spirit herb left in the Mu family. From now on, we must save all the spirit herbs for our future generation. As the saying went, when a wall starts tottering, everyone gives it a shove. Mu Huan could not believe what she was hearing. Previously, these people were treating her mother so well, but now, they were so ruthless. Mu Huan clenched her fists tightly and turned to look at Mu Ling farther. Mu Ling breathed seemingly in pain as he closed his eyes slowly. After a while, he opened his eyes and limped toward Chen Qingyang. Let's go. I have some spirit herbs, I can give them to her. Mu Ling bent over to carry Chen Qingyang up from a pool of blood. Not to mention that Chen Qingyang had saved Mu Ling back then, Mu Ling had been staying with Chen Qingyang for years. Naturally, he could not turn his back on her. Seeing Chen Qingyang suffering, Mu Ling's heart was broken, like it was pricked by needles. It was the first time Mu Ling had doubted how true Chen Qingyang was to him. Father. Mu Huan was blazing with rage, her mother was hurt but her father did not even avenge her mother. Mu Shi was truly good for nothing. He only stood still at the side and did not do anything. It's all Qingyin's fault. She should not have taken so many spirit herbs away. Moreover, she should not have played this trick on me for extra chapters. As soon as Mu Ling finished his words, he sank into silence and walked away with Chen Qingyang in his hands. Just as Mu Ling walked past Suyi, he paused. He narrowed his eyes to hide the pain in his eyes. Then, he left without looking back. Suyi did not turn to face Mu Ling. Her elegant face remained emotionless. Mu Ling was merely a stranger to Suyi. No matter what he did, he could no longer break her heart. There is another thing we are here for today. It's something about my grandson and young Lady Feng. The old master looked around nonchalantly. Everyone on the spot burst into an uproar. Young Master Nanxian is getting married soon. Young Lady Feng has healed my disease. She will be my granddaughter-in-law in the future. If any of you go against her, you are disrespecting me. I am old and not capable of managing the Mu family anymore. Suyi and young Lady Feng will take care of the Mu family in the future. Old Master, shouldn't it be young Master Nanxian who helms the Mu family? Everyone present fell silent for a moment. The old master did not say a word and merely glanced at Nanxian. Nanxian looked calm and very much at ease like an otherworldly immortal. He could only see Feng Ruqing in his eyes. Only when he looked at Feng Ruqing, he had human emotions on his face. Whoever thinks he could convince Nanxian to helm the Mu family, please go ahead. I am not capable of doing this. Chapter 1008, Jiyusha's Trick 3. The people of the Mu family seemed a little uncomfortable. The old master wants us to convince young Master Nanxian. Will he kill all of us in a fit of anger? Old master, I will not settle down in the Mu family. Feng Ruqing stroked her head. I will follow Qing'er wherever she goes. Old master, don't count on us. Suyi smiled blandly. The old master was rendered speechless. He could feel that his heart was broken. The old master had just gotten rejected. Suyi had never rejected him before. If you cannot count on Mu Ling, you still have another son. The spirit herbal dishes that I prepared for him these few days have nearly eliminated the fetus poison in his body. It cannot harm him anymore. Feng Ruqing reminded the old master with a spurious smile on her face. Hearing this, the old master's eyes lit up and turned to look at Mu Qingyan. My nephew's wife is putting me into trouble. The corner of Mu Qingyan's lips slightly lifted. Mu Qingyan used to live a carefree life, unlike Mu Ling who had always been busy handling the things in the Mu family. His temper had worsened because of this. Father, that's it. If there is anything that you don't understand, go for Suyi. Case closed. The old master did not even give Mu Qingyan an option. By the way, I think Gui is quite a good match for you. Since the fetus poison can be eliminated, I will go to the chief manor together with you for a marriage proposal one fine day. If you reject this, I will stop drinking and eating. The old master left Mu Qingyan with no choice. Isn't my father completely recovered? I feel that he has lost his mind. Dumbfounded, Mu Qingyan turned to look at Feng Ruqing. Bang! Burning with fury, the old master took off his shoe and smacked Mu Qingyan across his face. You rascal! You are already 30. You still don't want to get married? Suyi will leave the Mu family. I don't have any daughter-in-law anymore. If you don't get me a daughter-in-law, I will starve myself to death. Feng Ruqing broke into laughter. Me for extra chapters. The old master has a good eye for choosing a daughter-in-law. Just like Suyi and Gui, second uncle, Gui has a great personality. She is a great lady. You may want to consider this. If you truly like her, just propose to her. However, if you don't like her, go and get someone you truly love. Beaming with pride, the old man raised his chin. That's right, I have a good eye. The lady that I selected has never let me down. Rascal, Gui is truly lovable. If you bring back a lady like Chen Qingyang, I will kill you. Mu Qingyan's lips slightly lifted. The old master was always fond of simple-hearted and straight-spoken ladies. Chen Qingyang was so pretentious that only Mu Ling would fall for her. In fact, there was nothing wrong with a pretentious lady. Many ladies would do that with the man that they loved. However, Chen Qingyang was a master at playing tricks. She was too sketchy. Hence, the old master did not like her. Young lady Xiao Qing, when will your parents come over? Let me send some people to bring them here. We need to discuss the wedding arrangement. The old master held onto Feng Ruking's hand, his solemn face softened and broke into a smile. Nan Xian merely frowned and took Feng Ruking's hand out of the old master's hand. The old master's face stiffened and stared bitterly at Nan Xian. Nan Xian was even jealous of his own grandfather. Su Yi was so close to Feng Ruqing, would he be jealous of his mother as well? Chapter 1009, Ji Yusha's Trick 4. I wrote a letter to Fengyun Manor. Su Yi smiled. They will return after they have read the letter. Qing'er, just quickly settle your marriage after they came back so that Nan Xian can rest assured. Feng Ruqing remained silent. Why was Nan Xian worried? Had she ever hooked up with other men? No. Chen'er was her brother. Therefore, their relationship was naturally different. Zhu Ming liked men, so it was impossible for the two of them to be together. There was nothing to worry about. Yes. The old man's eyes were bright. Go and discuss a suitable date for the marriage with Maiden Feng's parents. I will inform the others to participate. If Mu Qingyin can bring back his beloved woman at that time, I will be even happier. Mu Qingyin was silent. Could the old master stop bringing him up when talking about marriage? Qingyin, your nephew is getting married soon. Aren't you ashamed? Mu Qingyin hesitated for a while. I don't feel ashamed. What he said was the fact, but he did not expect the old master to throw a shoe at him out of anger just as he finished his words. Get out. Mu Qingyin pursed his lips. He felt that the old man's temper had become worse. The old master was never like that in the past. However, Mu Qingyin had never thought that when the old master was healthy, he was just a 10-year-old boy. How could the old master force him to marry? Furthermore, Su Yi was still at the Mu family at that time. Therefore, the old master was not in a hurry. Now, how could he not be in a hurry? Fortunately, Nan Xian's marriage had given him a little comfort. Although Su Yi was no longer the Mu family's daughter-in-law, Nan Xian was still the Mu family's grandson. There was no doubt about it. No one could change it. The old master's face lit up thinking about this. However, he was very angry and had kicked Mu Qingyin when he saw him still standing in front of him. Go out and get me a daughter-in-law, or else, don't you dare come back to see me. Mu Qingyin looked at Su Yi as if he was asking for help. However, Su Yi never looked at him at all. His heart suddenly turned cold. Mu Qingyin went out obediently because he was worried that the old master would continue to be angry. His brows were filled with sorrow. Was it that easy to get a wife? If he were to marry a girl that he disliked, he would rather not marry. Me for extra chapters. Of course, Mu Qingyin believed that he was an excellent judge of people. The girl he liked would be not that bad. The old master would certainly be able to accept her. But the problem was, where should he find his beloved girl? Inside the chief manor, Ji Yusha saw Ji Yue filling a lot of spirit herbs into her bag. He cleared his throat and asked awkwardly, are you going to the Mu family again? Yes. I'm going to find Xiao Qing. Then your spirit herb. Ji Yusha hesitated. Ji Yue immediately grasped at her bag. She was vigilant. I want to give them to Xiao Qing. You must not take them away. Ji Yusha was speechless. Was he such a mean person? Feng Ruqing had given the Ji Yu family an herbal dish that had helped him a lot. He could still give her these spirit herbs. It was just that. I heard that Maiden Feng is getting engaged. Ji Yue stopped. Her face turned pale and she was about to cry. Xiao Qing, is she getting engaged? Ji Yue was so heartbroken at that moment that she could hear the sound of her heart being torn into pieces. Her goddess. So, the woman that she loved most was not hers from now on? Ahem. Ji Yusha cleared his throat. It's impossible for you and Maiden Feng to be together. Just let her go. There are so many men in the world. Why should you waste your time on her? Chapter 1010, Ji Yusha's Trick. Ji Yue bit her lower lip hard. I don't like men. I like Xiao Qing. I want to follow her forever. I scolded you because of this too. You can't marry her. Maybe both of you will drift further apart after she gets married in the future. She won't even remember who you are sooner or later. Gue was speechless. Gue held her chest. She could feel the pain in her chest. The thought of Xiao Qing never remembering who she was when meeting her in the future made her want to cry. There was a flash of light in Jiyusha's eyes. So, you can't marry her. But you can be part of her family. Be part of her family? Gue was suspicious. How can I be part of her family? Become her sworn sister? It's too tacky. The best way for you to be part of her family is to be her aunt. Gue stared blankly at Jiyusha. Feng Ruqing has no uncle. How can I be her aunt? She doesn't, but Nanxian has. I think Mu Qingyan is quite good. He is handsome and has a good personality. He is also Nanxian's uncle. If you marry him, wouldn't you be part of Maiden Feng's family? Gue would be furious after hearing Jiyusha's words if it was in the past. But she kept quiet and was in deep thought this time. If she married Mu Qingyan, she would be Nanxian's aunt. She might be able to make Nanxian leave for a while as his aunt. Then she might be able to have Xiao Qing all to herself. Just thinking about it made her so happy. Gue smiled excitedly. This idea is good. When I become Nanxian's aunt, he must listen to me. He will have to follow my orders. I will make him leave for a but. Xiao Qing will be mine after he leaves. Jiyusha exhaled slowly. He smilingly looked at Gue, who was running out excitedly. He smiled like a sly old fox. You can't fight me. You are still too young and tender. Although he had always loved Yi, he could not just watch his baby girl continue liking women. It would be fine if Feng Ruqing liked her back. However, Feng Ruqing already had a man whom she loved. Since her love was only one-sided, then it would be just fine if he interfered in her love affair. It seemed that he might succeed in getting Yi to marry a man this time. Gue naturally did not know that she was acting according to Jiyusha's plan. Me for extra chapters. Just when she wanted to run to tell Feng Ruqing about her decision, a man who was equally in deep thought was coming toward her. Neither of them had seen each other. They bumped into each other. Gue was startled and fell over after being hit. A slender hand reached over and grabbed her arm when she was about to fall to the ground. Gue's head bumped into the man's chest. She felt the pain and had an urge to swear at the man loudly. However, all the curse words disappeared the moment Gue saw the man. The man had a clean and elegant face. His face was cold. He gazed at the little girl in front of him. He frowned a little. Are you okay? Are you hurt? His voice was very pleasant. It sounded like the spring water in the mountain that could purify anyone's heart. Mr. Gue smiled. I want to marry you. Mu Qingyan remained silent. Is this girl okay? Young lady Gu, we have only met each other a few times. Why do you want to marry me? Because I want to be Nanxian and Qingqing's aunt. Chapter 10-11, Jiyusha's Trick 6. Gue smiled. With this, she would have the opportunity to occupy Xiao Qing and drive the vixen, Nanxian, away. Young lady Gu, we rarely have any interactions with each other, let alone any feelings for each other, so, it doesn't matter. I just want to be Nanxian's aunt. Mu Qingyan was speechless. Mu Qingyan had always felt that he could not talk normally to this girl. Therefore, he just stopped talking and walked forward. Mr. Wait. Gue was anxious. She hurried to him. You may have misunderstood me. I am an elegant woman. I am very obedient and have never caused any trouble. I have never fought with anyone. I won't disgrace you. She stopped abruptly. It was because Gue saw that Luo Li was surrounded by a group of people in front of her not far away. Her face was red and her eyes were filled with anger. She saw Qin Fei crying aggrievedly while many people were accusing Luo Li. Gue did not know what had happened, but she also understood that Qin Fei must have bullied Luo Li. Without a second thought, she kicked the butt of the person standing in front of her and sent him flying. Mu Qingyan, who was standing behind Gue, was speechless. Where was the elegant woman that she had claimed to be just now? Did she not say that she never fights? After seeing Gue protecting Luo Li behind her and staring at the group of teenagers fiercely, he could not help but smile. Who has allowed you to bully Luo Li? Gue asked and glowered coldly at the people present. Everyone became quiet. They seemed to be afraid of Gue. No, it's not our fault. It's Luo Li's fault. Finally, someone spoke. She hit Feiya just now. Feiya's health is poor, yet she still hit her. We just wanted to teach her a lesson. Luo Li sneered. I heard she and her maid were talking badly about Xiaoqing behind her back. I couldn't bear it and had scolded them back. It was also the people of the Qin family who had started the fight first. I just hit back to protect myself. The teenager was stunned speechless. He then said firmly, Feiya is not someone who would talk badly of others behind their back. It is even more impossible for her to hit other people. Luo Li, don't insult Feiya me for extra chapters. Luo Li grinned ironically. It doesn't matter if she doesn't admit it. I don't care about reputations now. So, what if I bully her? I just want to bully her. I will hit her every time I see her. Just don't let me see her again. She has scolded Xiaoqing and hit you. Gue was so angry that she threw a kick again. Her kick was directed at Qin Feiya. Qin Feiya was flung away before she coughed up blood. Gue. Those teenagers were furious and looked angrily at Gue after seeing Qin Feiya's miserable appearance. Gue squeaked, I don't need any reason to hit people. I will just beat them when I want to. You can go to the chief manor and complain to my father if you are not happy about it. Everyone became silent. Going to the chief manor and complain to the manor master? They would not be able to come out safely after going to the chief manor. The manor master could be very unreasonable when it came to his precious daughter. Get out now. The group of people immediately dispersed like birds and dared not stay after hearing her yell. Qin Feiya also left with the help of the people of the Qin family. She looked back and glanced at Gue before she left. Chapter 10-12. Jiusha's trick. Gue could not help but shiver after she saw Qin Feiya's darkened eyes. Luo Li. Gue turned around. She then saw a flustered Luo Li behind her. There were bruises on her arms. How are you? Luo Li shook her head. I'm fine. By the way, don't let Xiaoqing know about this. She is too busy with the Mu family's matters. I don't want her to worry about it. What's going on with Qin Feiya recently? Gue recalled Qin Feiya's darkened eyes. She paused. She seems to have changed. Gue did not like Qin Feiya before. It was because Qin Feiya was acting like she was the most righteous person and was always nitpicking on others' behaviors and attitudes. That was it. But now, Qin Feiya was making her feel uncomfortable as if a venomous snake was staring at her. Maybe it was Qin Chen and Xiaoqing running away that has irritated her. Luo Li shrugged. However, a person like Qin Chen is not suitable to stay in the Qin family. The Qin family is a big dive at a place full of deception and frame. I only understand now that no one from the Qin family is a good person. She used to think that the Qin family would treat this adopted child very well. She just realized how ridiculous her thoughts were after discovering the true colors of these people. I'll go home first. Let's gather again when I have time. Luo Li smiled. She greeted Gue before turning around and leaving. Gue had initially wanted to ask about the Luo family's current situation today. Suddenly, something came to her mind and her body stiffened. She turned her head mechanically and looked at the elegant man standing behind her. Mister, would you believe me if I said that I didn't do anything just now? I did not kick and scold them. I'm a lady. I'm also not the kind who would bully people. Mu Qingyan slightly smiled. I saw it all. Gue was about to cry. What should she do now? What should she do if he did not want to marry her after seeing her violent side? How could she be Xiaoqing's family? Too bad, I saw it all. Gue was silent. After a long while, she carefully asked, Can you just be blind and pretend that nothing has happened? Mu Qingyan was speechless. Be blind? But I'm not blind. Gue took a deep breath. Mister, do you know that you are quite insensitive? Mu Qingyan raised his hand and caressed Yi's head. There is no need to be too tolerant with the bad people. So, you did nothing wrong. His palms were huge and strong. Me for extra chapters. The temperature of his palm startled Gue. She looked up and stared blankly at the man in front of her. That. Then can you not tell Xiao Qing what has happened today? Xiao Yin said that Xiao Qing likes elegant ladies. It's not easy for me to pretend for so long. What if Xiao Qing stopped liking me if she knew that I was not an elegant lady? All right. Mu Qingyan smiled. This girl was not as troublesome as he imagined. The man's hand was still above Gue's head, showing no sign of taking it away. Gue's face was red. This was the first time she was so close to a man. She was too fat in the past and nobody liked her. Later, she had fallen in love with Xiao Qing and was extremely disgusted with men. Several young men had come to the Gu family to propose a hand in marriage in the past. However, they were all driven away by her. But now, she was not disgusted by Mu Qingyan's hand. Chapter 1013. Jiyusha's trick. It might also be because Mu Qingyan was Xiao Qing's family. She loved Feng Ruqing, so she could accept his touch. Are you going to find Qing'er? Mu Qingyan slightly smiled. I'm also going back. Let's go to the Mu family together. Gue blinked. Did Mu Qingyan not ignore her just now? Why did he want to go with her now? Could it be that he was moved by her infatuation toward Xiao Qing? Was he going to help her? So, did it mean that she had a chance to become Xiao Qing's family? Gue thought about it and felt that there was no other possibility beyond that. She accepted Mu Qingyan's suggestion. Okay then, let's go. Luo Fei hurriedly walked out of the Luo family. He then met an approaching Luo Li as soon as he stepped down the stairs. His eyes were full of joy. Liar, are you back? Luo Li frowned and pursed her lips. She did not want to face Luo Fei since the incident that day. Maybe she still could not forget the incident and forgive him yet. Liar, someone came to inform me just now that you were beaten up by Qin Fei'er. Luo Fei saw the injuries on Luo Li's arm at a glance. He panicked and grabbed Luo Li's arm immediately. He carefully avoided the wounds. Luo Li's face stiffened. She wanted to pull back her arm that Luo Fei was holding. It's all bruises. I'll ask someone to bring some spirit herbs over. It will be better if you apply it. Luo Li sneered at the undisguised distress in Luo Fei's eyes. Why did he not act like this when she was scalded by hot water the other day? He had even defended Qin Xiaoye at that time. Soon, someone brought the spirit herbs. Luo Li tried to remove Luo Fei's hand from hers a few times but failed. She could only let him apply the spirit herbs to her arm. Me for extra chapters. It was cool and all the pain disappeared. Liar, let's go. Luo Fei did not let go of Luo Li's hand. He then pulled her along with him and walked outside. Luo Li was cold. Where are you taking me? To the Qin family to find Qin Fei'er. They have hurt you. I want an explanation from them. Luo Fei's face was firm and unquestionable. Luo Li's heart trembled a little at this moment. She slowly closed her eyes and recalled her memory from before. Before her father had met Qin Xiaoye. He had always treated her like this. If anyone bullied her, he would avenge her as soon as she went back and cried to him. Chapter 1014. Jiyusha's Trick 9. Everything had changed since Qin Xiaoye appeared. Do you think I will forgive you if you act like this? Luo Li's tears flowed uncontrollably. I can accept that you marrying another woman. After all, mother has died a long time ago. It's not fair for you to be alone. I have never expected you to love only mother forever. However, I don't allow anyone to insult mother. She has purposely spoiled mother's grave and even stamped on it. Why won't you believe me? You only trust her. You only listen to her. Luo Fei stopped in his tracks. He looked back at the little girl who was crying. He felt guilty and wanted to wipe her tears. Liar, I was wrong. I was too stupid to believe in her words. I feel guilty about you and your mother. I promise you that there will be no other women in the Luo family, okay? He had forgotten. He had forgotten that her daughter never lied. He had believed in Qin Xiaoye but not in his daughter. He had always thought that Luo Li was making a fuss because she did not want anyone to snatch him away. He had also forgotten that Liar had always been a good child and was never the kind of person who would unreasonably cause trouble. So, it was all his fault. He would spend his whole life to make up to her. Luo Li pursed her lips without saying a word. Her tears fell like rain dripping to the ground and it made his heart ache. He was so stupid to have trusted Qin Xiaoye and had almost brought calamity to the Luo family. He suddenly realized how much he had done wrong over the years after discovering Qin Xiaoye's true colors. I won't allow anyone to be disrespectful to Mother. Mother has already passed away, but she still treated Mother's grave like this. She does not respect the deceased. I will never call such a woman mother even if you ask me to. A mother was the most important person in all daughters' hearts. No woman could replace her. She could accept the fact that Luo Fei married another woman. However, she could not accept the fact that the woman did not respect her deceased mother and insulted her. Was she even a good daughter if she had accepted it? Liar, I'm truly sorry. I know I was wrong. Can you give me another chance? Luo Fei begged in a soft voice. Me for extra chapters. Luo Li lowered her head. Her heart was softened. Not because Luo Fei wanted to settle accounts with Qin Fei for her. But, Luo Fei had applied medicine for her before taking her out. If Luo Fei had taken her to Qin Fei first and ignored her pain, she might still think that Luo Fei was not paying much attention to her. But this little detail melted her heart. I will look at your performance then. Luo Li bit his lower lip and snorted softly. You must also apologize to Mother in front of her grave. Besides, if you want to marry another woman in the future, she must be a person who respects the elders and also the young ones. She must not bully me, or else, I will fight back. Okay. Luo Fei raised his hand and hugged Luo Li. I promise you that there would be no other woman in the Luo family. So, there will be no other woman. I have learned my lesson this time. The Luo family has just managed to restore its peacefulness. I will not let another Qin Xiaoye ruin it again. Chapter 10-15. Becoming a big joke. Luo Li lowered her head. She did not answer Luo Fei's words. She did not know how she should face Luo Fei now. Liar, let's go to the Qin family first. I won't let anyone bully you in the future. Luo Fei held Luo Li's hand tightly. His pace was brisk and his palm was strong, giving her a warm and reassuring feeling. This was the feeling she had never experienced in a long time. Luo Li pursed her lips. She allowed Luo Fei to pull her forward. A tear fell from the corner of her eye and dissipated with the wind under the breeze. Father. Inside the room, a strong voice came from behind Mu Ling when he was about to turn around and leave. Mu Huan clenched her fists tightly. She could hardly breathe. Father, where are you going? Mother hasn't woken up yet. Are you going to find that bitch? Slap. Mu Ling raised his hand and slapped Mu Huan's face. He did not feel guilty this time and he was disappointed. How could his obedient and lovely daughter become so selfish? Mu Huan covered her red cheek. She stared at Mu Ling fiercely with her stubborn and resentful eyes. Her beautiful eyes that were full of hatred were like needles piercing through Mu Ling's heart. Huana, when have you become like this? Or, have I never known you? Mu Huan smiled sarcastically. She put down her hand that was covering her cheek. She said coldly, Father, it was because we have never known that you are such a person. Mother was infatuated with you, but you just don't care about her. Now, Mother is still in a coma, you can't even wait until she wakes up. Infatuated? Mu Ling laughed. Qingyang did dote on him. But her behavior had ruined the Mu family. She had even treated him like a fool to avoid being blamed for her mistakes. When did it start? When was Qingyang no longer sincere to him? Did you know that Qingyan's behavior has caused the Mu family to be in such a desperate situation? Mu Ling said loudly as he was very angry. Mu Huan sneered. You can forgive Suyi no matter what she has done wrong, and you have even begged her to come back again and again. Mother just made a little mistake, but you cannot accept that. Do you only like Mother when she is caring and can't accept it when she makes mistakes? Me for extra chapters. Mu Ling's body stiffened. You can forgive Suyi no matter what she has done wrong. The girl's voice kept echoing in his ear. He closed his eyes slowly. It seemed that he did tolerate Suyi a lot. Although it was Suyi's fault that he could not have children anymore, he could still forgive her. He could even beg her in a soft voice. However, Suyi had never harmed the Mu family. The Mu family was much stronger back then when she was still around. I was wrong. Mu Ling opened his eyes and burst into tears. He suddenly laughed. I have been wrong all along. Ha ha ha, it is I who has ruined the Mu family. It is I who has ruined the Mu family. Huana, you don't have to worry. I will not be so heartless toward Qingyang. After all, she saved my life. I will not drive her away no matter what she has done. But she shouldn't have treated me as a fool. She was afraid of death and has even been exposed to faking it in public. She has made a big joke out of me. There were so many people at that time. He was already a joke in everyone's eyes. Chapter 10:16. Males are more important than females. Mu Huan's voice was cut off abruptly. She looked at Mu Ling furiously, feeling cold and unable to say a word. Before Suyi returned, her parents were as loving as when they first met. Everything had changed since Suyi returned. So, why did she come back? Mu Huan clenched her fists tightly, and even after Mu Ling had left, she did not react at all. Her eyes were filled with hatred. She hated Suyi for using force to gain favor and for stealing the man her mother loved the most. I hate Suyi. I'll make sure she never live in peace. Cough. Cough. There was a weak coughing sound coming from the bed. This voice instantly pulled Mu Huan away from her thoughts. She turned and hurried to the bed. With a face full of joy she asked, Mother, are you awake? Ling. Brother Ling. Chen Qingyang opened her eyes partially. Her voice was as weak as a soft breeze. Her eyes darted around, but she did not see the person she was expecting. She lowered her eyes slightly and a bitter smile hung on her pale face. Huana, your father. Didn't he come to see me? Mu Huan trembled. She could not bear to tell her mother that her father had left before she had even woken up. Mother. Dad left earlier due to some matters. He will come back to see you soon. Huana, you don't need to comfort me, I know it very well. Chen Qingyang closed her eyes, her heart was in pain. What she had worried about for so many years had finally happened. He will not return again. Mu Ling was affectionate. And equally ruthless. All these years, Mu Ling had always been spoiling her, making her feel like she was in heaven. Similarly, he could also make her fall into hell at any given moment. To this man, nothing compared to the Mu family. He took the family more seriously than anything else. Mother, you don't have to think too much about it. Get well soon. He won't ignore you. If he didn't care about you, he wouldn't have taken out the elixir from his private collection to save you. Mu Huan's comforting lit up Chen Qingyan's eyes for a moment before quickly darkening and filled with pain. Huana, your maternal grandmother died in the hands of the old master. Mu Huan's heart skipped a beat as she looked at Chen Qingyang in shock. Me for extra chapters. The events of that year were taboo in everyone's heart, so no one had talked about the past. As such, this was the first time Mu Huan had heard Chen Qingyan's talk about her maternal grandmother. Logically speaking, I should hate the old master and the Mu family, but I have fallen in love with your father anyway. For him, I am willing to let go of all the hatred, but why does your father still not care about me in the end? He's all that I have, he's my life. How would I live this life without him? Chen Qingyang voiced out hoarsely, tears of grief flowing from her eyes and all over her pale face. Her body was shaking as if there was an abyss of sorrow within, and it seemed to take great effort to keep it all from exploding entirely. Huana, only you can help me, now only you can help me. Chen Qingyang held Mu Huan's hand tightly and said distraughtly, "Besides you, there is no one else who can help me." Mu Huan bit her lower lip hard, her body was trembling with anger. "Mother, what should I do? How can I help you?" Chen Qingyang lowered her eyes, a light flashed in her eyes. "I want you to seduce someone." "Mother!" Mu Huan's eyes widened in disbelief. The hand that Chen Qingyang was holding stiffened. "What did you just say?" Chapter 10:17. Males are more important than females. Chen Qingyang wept silently. "Huana, in this world, only he can help me. Go and seduce him. If you get his help, the Mu family and even the entire Tianshan manor will be ours." Mu Huan's face turned pale as her head throbbed. She never knew that her mother had such ambitions. The entire Tianshan manor? What she wanted was actually the entire Tianshan manor. "Huana, your father doesn't care about us anymore. If I continued living in the Mu family, that vicious woman, Suyi, will torture me to death." Chen Qingyin's eyes were filled with pain and deep grief. Also, she is a jealous person by nature. It is impossible that she would let you and Sierra go. Your younger brother's position has been taken away by Nanxian and now only you can help us. Mu Huan closed her eyes slowly and opened them after a while. "Mother, you want me to do this kind of thing? Is it to make life easier for our family of 3 or is it for Mushi?" If Nanxian had not returned and the old master had not recovered, Mushi would have been the heir of the next generation of the Mu family. However, Nanxian had returned and the old master's body was also healthy. Mushi would never have a chance again, therefore, she wanted to know whether it was to survive or to give Mushi power. "Stupid child, mother is not that kind of biased person. How could I sacrifice you just to let Xie gain the power to control Tianshan manor? Mother really have no other choices. Huana, mother can only rely on you." Chen Qingyin's eyes were filled with pity and reluctance. She gently stroked Mu Huan's hair, her voice soft. Mu Huan looked at Chen Qingyin's gentle face, her eyes were filled with tears. In this life, she thought very highly of herself. Innocence, to her, was better than all. However, she understood that with their standings in the Mu family, they were destined to be bullied. They had lost their father's protection, maybe one day they would really lose their lives in Suyi's hands. "Very well." Mu Huan's face bloomed into a bright smile. "Mother, I will listen to you. Huana, mother's good daughter." Chen Qingyin's hand caressed Mu Huan's face and sighed. "If it weren't for Suyi's return, it wouldn't have turned out like this. You wouldn't have needed to commit to others." Mu Huan trembled and dropped her head. Her eyes were filled with hatred. Yes, everything was Suyi's fault. If it wasn't because of Suyi, she wouldn't have needed to seduce anyone at all. It was Suyi who had forced her to this extent. She would never let go of this damned bitch. Me for extra chapters. Whether it's Suyi, Nanxian, or Fengruching, this group of people all deserve to die. What has happened to me today is all because of these people. They are the culprits. When Mu Huan said these words, she did not see Chen Qingyin's small smirk. However, she collected her expression and put on the same distressed look again. "Huana, it's difficult on you." She touched Mu Huan's face, her voice was weak and gentle. "You have done enough of taking care of me today. It is good to go back and get some rest first. She will take care of me later." Mu Huan sneered. What other things could her brother do besides having fun with women all day? Even when his mother was hurt so badly by others, he had only stood aside silently. Count on him? He, might as count on the servant girl of the Mu family. Mother, then I'll leave first. I cannot be rest assured with Mushi, I'll ask the servant girl to come. Chapter 10:18. Males are more important than females. Mu Huan pursed her lips. After looking at Chen Qingyang, she turned and left. The moment Mu Huan turned around, the gentle smile on Chen Qingyin's face disappeared and her eyes were filled with guilt. "Sorry, Huana. Mother knows that you are filial, but you are still a girl after all. Sooner or later, you will need to marry someone. This family still has to rely on Xie. If the old master were not clear-headed, It would not have mattered. Now that the old master is clear-headed, he would never give the Mu family to Xie. I can only use other methods. On top of that, if the spectral flower is ruined, he will blame it on me. Then, I can only use you as a scapegoat. Don't blame Mother. Mother did this for our family's consideration. Only after Xie has control of Tianshan Manor, only then can leave him again. Squeak. The door was pushed open and the sun shone on Muxai's figure. His handsome face was full of femininity. He slowly walked through the door. Mother, has she promised? Yes. Chen Qingyang smiled lightly. Previously I couldn't open my mouth. With what happened today, she has also felt the danger. I have to thank Feng Ruqing, otherwise, Huana would never have agreed. Mu Shi breathed a sigh of relief. That's good. If Mu Huan doesn't agree to be his woman, he might use me as a guinea pig for medicine. I don't want to be his guinea pig. After all, Mu Huan won't be losing out. Xie. Chen Qingyang frowned and said nothing about Muxai's words. You must not say that in the future, Huana has agreed to this matter for our sakes. I am ashamed about what I have done to her. But she had no other choice. She had to choose either one Mu Shi or Mu Huan. Otherwise, she could not afford to compensate for the spectral flower that cost so much. Xie looks good. He not only likes beautiful women but also shows great concern for them. We can only rely on Huana to be safe. With his support, Tianshan Manor will be Xie's in the future. Furthermore, since Huana will be following him, there will be no way to leave him. She will definitely be faithful to him only, therefore she wouldn't as bad as Suyi. Even if Mu Ling had given up on Suyi, Suyi was not qualified to go outside and hook up with others. She must be faithful, even if Mu Ling did not want her anymore. She also had to keep her innocence. Mother, you don't have to worry about Huana. We are giving her a chance. If she has the ability to firmly grasp that person's heart, that person has always been gentle, generous, and indulgent to women. Would there be anything that Huana would be dissatisfied with? Me for extra chapters. Chen Qingyang sighed and shook her head with a bitter smile. By the way, Xie, you must not let that person see Feng Ruqing. Once he sees Feng Ruqing, he will not accept Huana. The man had always been lustful, but his lust was different from Muxai's. If Mu Shi could not get a girl, he would swear to never give up. However, that man, even if he would not give up, he would never force any woman. He was gentle. To a man, he was cruel like the devil, but to a woman, he had always had a little more concern and consideration. In the beginning, he had just happened to see Mu Huan and could never forget Mu Huan. Chen Qingyang knew, back then, that it was impossible for Mu Huan to commit to one person for power, so she could not accept it on behalf of Mu Huan. Even so, that person did not force her, he would only make her his woman if she was willing. One thing that made him different from other men was that he brought the phrase disliking the old and taking delight in the new to an extreme level. Chapter 1019. Males are more important than females. Even if other men had concubines, they could never forget the old ones. Yet, he was different. Once he got a new woman, he would never touch the old one again. Therefore, Chen Qingyang would never allow that person to see Feng Ruqing, and she would not let anyone snatch the backing she had sought for her daughter. Mother, don't worry about this. The man is a clean freak and won't fancy unclean women. In Muxai's mind, Feng Ruqing's face emerged and he licked the corner of his lower lip. To me, it's different. No matter how dirty Feng Ruqing is, I am still willing to spoil her until I get tired of her. Chen Qingyan's expression changed as she shouted angrily, "You are in the Mu family. Don't reveal your intentions toward her now. Nan Xian is protecting her closely. If he hears this, he will not let you go. I am still not that stupid. Let Nan Xian be proud for a while now and let's wait for Huana to win that person's heart. As long as Huana says the word, that man will inevitably go to Jiyusha and give us this Tianshan Manor. By then, with his backing, would I be afraid of Nan Xian alone?" Mu Shi sneered, his brows were filled with wickedness. Nan Xian would be trampled under his feet. Feng Ruqing would also surely be under him. All he needed now was patience. Only after hearing Muxai's remarks, Was Chen Qingyang relieved. It's good as long as you understand. I'm a little tired, I will rest first. Chen Qingyang paused, lowering her eyes sadly. If your father can change his mind before then, he will still be your father, you must not be rude to him. She had always been true to Mu Ling. During her most difficult years, it was his appearance that had warmed her heart. If Mu Ling repented, she would give him a chance and then they would share all the riches in the world. If he insisted on continuing on this path, no matter how painful it was, she will never spare the Mu family anymore. Mother, do you think he will change his mind? He doesn't love you anymore, he just wants to pursue Suyi now. Mu, she sneered as he said that before leaving Chen Qingyang alone, lying on the bed stiffly. Tears blurred her sight and flowed from her eyes. Salty and bitter. Over the same thing, Mu Huan had always comforted her, just to make her feel at ease. Something that Mu she had said, stabbed her in the heart. I don't know if my choice is right or wrong, no matter how much she loved Mu Huan was a girl after all and would not be by her side in the future. Mu she was different. She believed that no matter who, given the same choices as she had, the choice would definitely be the son. Me for extra chapters. Her son was the only one she could depend on. Chen Qingyang wiped away the tears on her face and a smile appeared on her pale face. I'm right, I wouldn't be wrong if I let Huana commit to him. I'm just forced into desperation and there's nothing I can do about it. The person who has done wrong is the mother and son duo or Fengruching. Yes, it was all that group of people's fault. If Huana wanted to hate, then those were the people she should hate. Chen Qingyan's mood got much better, but the pain in her abdomen was still apparent and it constantly reminded her of what those people had done to her, in the medium. The sky was blue and the grass was green. With a loud rumbling, a powerful force came from somewhere near. The girl sitting on the grass with her eyes closed and her knees crossed finally opened her eyes. Intermediate Dark Warrior Tier. It had been some time since she had arrived at Tianshan Manor and now she had finally broken through to Intermediate Dark Warrior Tier. Chapter 1020. The Secret Realm Behind the Chief Manor. I Mother. Little Qing Han leaped into Feng Ruking's arms. With a bright smile on her little face, she giggled. You have finally made a breakthrough. How nice. Mother is becoming more powerful, it may not be long before she would be as strong as the 9th Emperor. Feng Ruqing stretched out her arms and embraced the soft bundle in her arms. She stood up from the grasslands and her eyes fell upon the little boy who was deep in sleep on the grass. How long more until Fu Chen wakes up? The little boy sleeping among the grass had a white and smooth face, more refined than an immortal child. He slept very soundly, no matter how loud the outside world was, it was not possible to wake him. Little Qing Han raised her head, staring blankly ahead and said, I don't know either, brother Fu Chen will wake up when he is supposed to wake up I guess. Ever since Fu Chen consumed a huge amount of elixirs, he was constantly sleeping. On the contrary, it was not known why little Qing Han had suddenly woken up. Qing Han, let's go. After Feng Ruqing said that, she looked at Fu Chen who was still asleep and left the medium. The sky outside was just starting to brighten, everything had not yet awakened. Boom. A loud sound came from the chief manor, shaking the whole Tianshan manor. Feng Ruqing's face changed, she had no time to notify anyone. She flew across the sky quickly, heading toward the chief manor. The chief manor. Behind the top of the mountain. The dungeon holding Xiao Ya was flattened. Ji Yusha's handsome face was panic-stricken. His face was pale and fear filled his heart. He was blocked by an invisible door in front of him. He tried to rush forward a few times but was blocked. It was as if a hand was pushing him back, forbidding him to take a half-step closer. Are all of you sure that Yi has suddenly disappeared? In front of Ji Yusha, the guards and servant girls were kneeling by the sides. There was a middle-aged woman kneeling next to them, her face trembling with terror. Manor master. I came to the back hill with the eldest young lady. I don't know what happened. The prison suddenly exploded and the young lady had suddenly disappeared. The servant cried. I really don't understand what has happened. It's Lady Fenghua, she has led the young lady here, me for extra chapters. Ji Yusha looked at Zheng Fenghua with red eyes, his eyes filled with raging anger. Who has allowed you to come back to the chief manor? What did you do to Yi? Zheng Fenghua was so scared that she could not even speak. It was only because her daughter was treated this way at the Mu family old master's birthday party. Gu, as a relative, did not help Kui, so she had tried her best to enter the house. She just wanted to persecute Gu for a bit and had never expected for this to happen. Brother-in-law, I don't know, I really don't know anything. Zheng Fenghua understood that she had created trouble. She crawled toward Ji Yusha with a face full of tears. Someone asked me to bring Ji to the back hill. I have never thought of harming Yi. I am her aunt. How could I harm her? I just wanted Yi to allow me to return to the chief manor. Her voice was strained, hoarse, and exhausted. She sounded absolutely miserable. In a fit of anger, Ji Yusha kicked Zheng Fenghua's chest, causing her to be flung away. Zheng Fenghua fell to the ground pitifully and looked desperately at the angry man in front of her, her face pale. Chapter 1021. The Secret Realm Behind the Chief Manor. To go and check. I want to know who has let her in. My chief manor does not need this kind of traitor. Ji Yusha's bloodshot eyes turned toward Zheng Fenghua, his eyes filled with anger. If anything happens to Yi or if she can no longer return, I will take your life as compensation. His daughter was his life. Ji Yusha instructed his people to arrest Zheng Fenghua and no longer investigated how this change could have happened at the back hill. He only knew that his daughter had vanished into thin air and there was another invisible door behind the hill. No matter how much strength he used, he could not seem to open the door. However, Ji Yusha understood that his daughter was still inside, so even if he had to exhaust everything he had, he must bring her back. Boom! Ji Yusha threw a fist at the door, but his arm shook until it became numb. Everything in front of him appeared to others as nothing more than air. There was nothing at all. However, Ji Yusha obviously felt the solidity of the door. Ji Yusha's heart was trembling, his fists pounded on the invisible door until fresh blood dripped from his knuckles. Yet he acted as if he could not feel a thing. His eyes were like a panther's and were filled with fury. Yi was someone with little courage. She would naturally feel afraid of being alone in a foreign place. No matter what, he had to find her. Manor Master Ji Yusha, what happened to Tianshan Manor? A clear and elegant voice spoke from behind him. Ji Yusha took a few steps backward, his forehead dripping with sweats. He turned his head to the man who was approaching him from the back. Mu Qingyan frowned slightly. Not knowing why, when he saw Ji Yusha's face, a wave of unease appeared in his heart. Second young Master Mu, our family's young lady has been harmed by others. At the moment, her whereabouts are unknown. Manor Master wishes to look for her, but there is a door blocking his way. Looking at Ji Yusha, who was silent, someone beside answered Mu Qingyan's question. Mu Qingyan was startled. Ji Yue was missing? You are all saying that. There is a door here. He looked around but all he could see was empty space, nothing was there. But Ji Yusha's blooded fist was not fake either. For a moment, Mu Qingyan, who was unable to verify anything, took 2 steps forward. He reached out to touch the space. His fingers went right through the door, with nothing blocking his fingers. So, the hesitant Mu Qingyan continued to move forward by another 2 steps. Ji Yusha's eyes suddenly widened. Me for extra chapters. Looking in disbelief at Mu Qingyan walking through the door, he walked further and further away in full view, then disappeared. This scene brought joy to Ji Yusha's heart. He rushed forward at great speed. Bang! His body bounced back again. With his head hurting, he was simply enraged. Why can Mu Qingyan enter, but I am unable to? On what basis? Just as Ji Yusha's fury was burning, a figure in a red dress came falling from the sky, stopping in front of everyone. Feng Ruking's arms held a delicate little lady. As she looked at the invisible door, a flash of light glinted in her eyes. Formation? No wonder little Qing Han could not find what had summoned her the other day. So, it was because there was an invisible prison. She did not know what had happened. But when she touched the formation, the prison instantly flattened. Inside the formation was a secret realm. The door to the secret realm was hidden because of the formation and people could not see it. The thing that had awakened Qing Han from her deep sleep was in this secret realm. Chapter 1022. The Secret Realm Behind the Chief Manor 3. Qing Han, let's enter. Feng Ruqing did not say anything more and simply dragged Qing Han into the formation, vanishing before everyone. Ji Yusha's eyes widened even more. How was it that Feng Ruqing and Mu Qingyin could enter, but he could not? The few of you, go and try to enter. Ji Yusha hollered with an ugly face. A few guards quickly entered the secret realm, afraid to go against Ji Yusha's order, and vanished in front of everyone. Ji Yusha's eyes narrowed, his heart had had an answer. Feng Ruqing, Mu Qingyin, or those guards have not reached Holy Warrior tier. I guess this secret realm forbids anyone who is of Holy Warrior tier from entering. Manor Master, you don't have to be so worried. Previously, I had followed your orders to investigate Feng Ruqing. It is said that Feng Ruqing is kind-hearted. Mu Ling had initially wanted to help Nanxian look for a fiancée, a lady called Tang Yin. Did you know? I heard it from her and found out why she had reneged. It is because Maiden Feng was too gentle and kind. She had displayed enmity toward Maiden Feng a couple of times. But when she met with danger, Maiden Feng had saved her without a care of her own life. From then on, she had fallen for Maiden Feng. She is so kind and absolutely will not ignore young lady. Furthermore, Maiden Feng could obviously see that it is a dangerous place, yet she still went in without hesitation. Why is that so? Of course, it is because of our eldest young lady. She has gone into the formation to save the eldest young lady. Therefore, Manor Master, you do not need to be so worried. Ji Yusha's nervousness and fear disappeared, his eyes brimmed with tears. If little Maiden Feng really manages to bring back Yi, she will be our chief manor's benefactor in the future. There would definitely be unexpected danger in an unknown place. It could be said that Mu Qingyin was unaware of the situation, but Feng Ruqing clearly saw it, yet why did she not hesitate to enter at all? It was definitely because she knew that Yi was in danger. So, she had personally gone into the formation to save her. It seemed that Yi's love was not one-sided after all. It's a pity. Why does it have to be Holy Warrior tier? If my ability could be regressed, I would be able to go and search for Yi. For the first time, Ji Yusha hated his abilities. He had originally thought that with his abilities, no one on earth who would dare to bully his daughter. Only now did he understand, after gaining his abilities, he could not completely protect her. Just as Ji Yusha turned his angry eyes upon Zheng Fenghua, another figure came forward. Me for extra chapters. An unparalleled, handsome man in clothes white like the snow, looking like a cold immortal, walked into the void. In an instant, he had entered the door of the secret realm and disappeared before Ji Yusha's eyes. Ji Yusha's face froze. Nanxian should have reached Holy Warrior tier, right? At Old Master Mu's birthday, Na Xian had displayed the strength of a holy warrior. Then why, clank? Ji Yusha was so upset that he forcefully threw the sword in his hand onto the ground. He finally understood, the formation was not against Holy Warrior tier, but against him. Zheng Fenghua, Ji Yusha's grief quickly disappeared. His sharp eyes turned toward Zheng Fenghua, who was held by the guards. Tell me, how did you deceive Yi to come to the back hill? Did someone directed you to do this? Feng Zhenghua's face paled. She understood that there was no way she could escape this calamity today. Since she would definitely die, why should she tell him? He. Zheng Fenghua sneered. Ji Yusha, in these past few years, you have wronged too many people. There are so many people who want to annihilate your whole family. Why should I tell you who is the mastermind plotting against all of you? Chapter 1023. The Secret Realm Behind the Chief Manor 4. Ji Yusha's veins near his brows were throbbing. He took a step forward and tightly held Zheng Fenghua's throat, his blood-red eyes containing anger. Tell me, who on earth made you do this? Zheng Fenghua was strangled to the point where she could not breathe. Yet the corner of her mouth was lifted in a mocking manner as she looked into Ji Yusha's angry eyes without fear. Actually, I know who it is without you needing to tell me. Ji Yusha sneered. In Tianshan manner, there are only a few families who intend to harm me. However, Ji Yue hates you so much. I want to know how you have managed to lure her to the back hill and what do you wish to achieve? Ji Yusha's grip loosened a little, perhaps to allow Zheng Fenghua to answer his question. Zheng Fenghua coughed and sneeringly said, originally, her mother, my sister, had left the family heirloom jade pendant to Ji Yue. However, that jade pendant has disappeared, right? I lied to her, saying that the jade pendant was stolen by me and only I know where it is located. She has already suspected that it was stolen by me. Naturally, she would follow me. I knew that there was a prison on the back hill with nobody taking care of the place. She had originally wanted me to kill Ji Yue, but eventually only intended to lock her up in the prison for some time. She is so arrogant and selfish, bullying my family's queer. I wanted to discipline her a little. I can enter Ji Yue residence only because of her assistance. Who knows what Ji Yue has touched that it has turned out like this? Ji Yusha, don't even dream of getting to know who is the one plotting against Ji Yue. I will never tell you. I want all of you to live in fear forever. An unknown enemy was more fearful than a known enemy. Since her brother-in-law would never let her go, why should she tell? Why not let Ji Yusha continue to guess who the hidden enemy was? Ji Yusha released his hands whilst looking at Zheng Fenghua. His face returning to the usual calm. It is Qin Fei, right? Zheng Fenghua was stunned and clear panic flashed in her eyes. She quickly regained her composure and said with gnashing teeth, I have no idea what you are talking about. Mu Ling has lofty ambitions, but he would never pick on Yi. That person, at most, would want to allow Yi to enter his manor. But he absolutely would not think of harming her. He has lofty ambitions, but he is cowardly. Mu Ling wouldn't dare to do this kind of things me for extra chapters. Furthermore, now old Master Mu was the one making decisions in the Mu family. If he were to say that he was worried about the Mu family before, now with old Master Mu, he did not need to worry about Mu Ling having any corrupted thoughts. Neither would the Luo family do such things. Luo Fei is one of my own people. As for the other families, their strength simply is not sufficient, not to mention they would not have the guts to do so. As such, there is only the Qin family left to blame. However, Qin Li has just made a breakthrough recently after seclusion, so it is impossible for him to do it. Wen Yu has not made any move and neither has Qin Chen. He has no feelings for the Qin family and he is Maiden Qing's person. Ji Yusha's eyes were cold but surging with murderous intent. Some time ago, Yi had sided with Luo Li against Qin Fei. Only Qin Fei has the motivation to harbor ill intentions toward Ji Yue. Ji Yusha slowly walked toward Zheng Fenghua. I don't know what Qin Fei has promised you, that even at this point, you would not spill the beans on her. However, I would never allow others to hurt my daughter. Zheng Fenghua's heartbeat accelerated. She clenched her fists tightly as her whole body trembled. Her back was drenched in cold sweats, her spine stiff. The cold wind blew and her face paled even more. Chapter 1024. The secret realm behind the chief manor. Ji Yusha understood everything. Actually from the start, he had already known who the mastermind was. He had said so much nonsense only to see if she was willing to speak out the truth. So what if it is her? At this point, it was meaningless for Zheng Fenghua to continue denying. She gritted her teeth. Young Lady Qing has promised me that if I helped her this time, she will ensure the safety my daughter and me. She also promised us endless luxurious clothes and delicacies. Furthermore, when Enkui was being bullied by all those people, what were you doing as her uncle? I hate the Jiyu family, I hate all of you. You watched Kuya grow up, yet treated her so mercilessly. Luckily, Jiyu has received the retribution she deserved. I had intended to let her go, but even the gods wouldn't let her off, ha ha ha. She laughed manically, completely losing her sanity. Her hair was a mess, it was as if she was a madwoman, her eyes were filled with hatred. Ji-Yusha looked down at the woman before him. Why would Kui have this kind of retribution? Don't you understand? Since she decided to sacrifice her innocence, she had even planned on blaming Nanxian. It is only natural that the Mu family refuses to let her go. All of this is caused by your wrongful teachings. I was not wrong. Kuya did not do anything wrong either. Zheng Fenghua's smile was haggard. She laughed maniacally. My Kuya is so outstanding, so what if she wants to become Nanxian's woman? Those people have no vision, it is not her fault. Ji-Yusha sneered and waved his hand. You're too stubborn. Come, drag her away and beat her to death. For harming my daughter, you give your life as a compensation. Ha ha ha. Zheng Fenghua laughed maniacally. Ji-Yusha, you will get your retribution, you definitely will. Everyone says that your position of Mana Master is ill-gotten. Sooner or later, what you have done to the previous Mana Master will still come back to you. 2 guards had already carried Zheng Fenghua further and further away until they disappeared from everyone's vision. Her hoarse voice was also carried away by the wind. Ji-Yusha slowly closed his eyes. Was he wrong? Should he not have killed the previous Mana Master and taken his position? No. He was not wrong. Me for extra chapters. The previous Mana Master was incredibly evil. He had murdered many people. Even those from Tianshan Manor followed him to mindlessly murder the ordinary people. And his wife was also tortured to death by those strong people. From that moment onward, for his daughter to live on and also to take revenge for his wife, he had entered countless tombs. As long as there was an opportunity to become stronger, he would never give it up. Some people in Tianshan Manor have the deeply embedded thinking that as the strong, they have the right to simply oppress the weak. That year during the war against Tianye has made those people afraid of offending the secular world, but in the reclusive world, there were quite a number of weak people who were oppressed by them. Worship the strong. Survival of the fittest. In my territory, there are only rules and regulations. Petty fights are fine, but absolutely no slaughter or abuse is accepted. It is also because of this that many have wished for me to be removed. They want to experience the thrill of murder. In this world, be it a strong warrior or an ordinary person, everyone has the right to live. No one has the right to use others as a form of entertainment. No matter how many people are dissatisfied, as long as I am the Mana Master of Tianshan Manor, no one is allowed to go against the rules I set. As the breeze blew, the man's clothes fluttered. A look of determination was plastered on his handsome face. Unshakable like the mountains, as calm as the sea. Chapter 1025. The Huge Rabbit Eye Within the Secret Forest. Sunlight shone through the leaves, casting patches of light on the ground. A young maiden with leaves still caught in her hair stood up and looked through the jungle to an open space nearby. This should be the world in the secret realm. Qing Han, can you feel what is it that is summoning you? Next to the young maiden stood a beautiful and fair little lady, her facial features delicate and pretty, just like a porcelain doll. So beautiful that it was hard to forget. After entering the secret realm, I could no longer feel anything. Mother, when will we leave this place? I'm a little hungry. Little Qinghan raised her head, staring at Feng Ruqing with eyes wide open. Feng Ruqing pondered for a moment, then took out a grade 5 spirit herb and threw it to little Qinghan. She herself took out a few pieces of divine spirit fruits and gently took a bite. The juice flowed into her mouth, lingering there for a bit. Compared to other spirit herbs, the divine spirit fruit, although only a grade 1 spirit herb, tasted so good that it caused the spirit beast to lose their minds. Mother, is this divine spirit fruit that delicious? Little Qing Han swallowed the spirit herb that Feng Ruqing gave her at one go, then stared at the divine spirit fruit in Feng Ruqing's hand with great longing. Brother Fu Chen said that the divine spirit fruit's grade is too low, it's not suitable for us as food. I have never eaten it, but why do all the spirit beasts love the divine spirit fruit so much? To humans, the divine spirit fruit could relieve fatigue, but for the spirit beasts, naturally, they would not need this ability. Therefore, in their eyes, the divine spirit fruit was just a sweet juicy fruit. Would you like to try? Feng Ruqing raised her hand, plucked a divine spirit fruit and passed it to little Qing Han. Little Qing Han swallowed her saliva, looking troubled. Brother Fu Chen said that they were of noble status, low-grade spirit herbs were not suitable to be their food. But, she really wanted to eat it. Little Qing Han could not resist the temptation of delicious food. She raised her hand and took the divine spirit fruit. Her little mouth took a bite and the juice burst out, stimulating her taste buds. Fragrant and sweet. Yummy. If I had known earlier that the divine spirit fruit was so tasty, I wouldn't have eaten grass on an empty stomach with Brother Fu Chen. Brother Fu Chen said the lowest grade spirit herb that is suitable to be our food has to be at least grade 3. You have already starved for more than 1,000 years and are still so picky about food? She really could not understand what the spirit herb was thinking. Creak, creak. Me for extra chapters. A sound came out from next to Feng Ruqing. Feng Ruqing turned her head to the side and saw a huge stout rabbit. Yes, this rabbit was very stout, so tall that it almost reached her waist. Little Qing Han's eyes were sparkling. She swallowed another mouthful of saliva, but still, she drooled. What am I supposed to do? I really want to eat it. How to make barbecued rabbit meat? Creak. The huge rabbit tugged at Feng Ruqing's clothes, ears dropping, both hands in a position of pleading, staring at the divine spirit fruit in Feng Ruqing's hands with its big blue eyes. You want to eat it? Feng Ruqing laughingly looked at the big rabbit. Too bad this is only a secret realm. I can't bring you back to my princess manor. Never mind, I won't be calculative with you. This divine spirit fruit shall be given to you for free. With clear eyes, the big rabbit accepted the divine spirit fruit Feng Ruqing had handed it. However, it did not eat the divine spirit fruit, but carefully kept it away, then continued to stare at Feng Ruqing. Chapter 1026. The huge rabbit to Feng Ruqing was speechless. Now even a rabbit was so shameless. One was actually not enough. Seeing that you are a dam and are pregnant with little bunnies, I will give you another one. However, it is also the last one. This rabbit's stomach was really big, so it must be pregnant. Feng Ruqing was always a little gentler with pregnant spirit beasts. However, the dam still did not eat the divine spirit fruit and kept it away once again. Maybe it knew that it could only obtain 2 of the divine spirit fruit from Feng Ruqing and therefore did not continue to bother itself with her. It bowed to her, then quickly turned and hopped away. Qing Han, do you feel that it is really weird? Feng Ruqing turned her head and looked at little Qing Han. Little Qing Han was confused. What? This forest has thick spiritual qi, even no less than the spiritual qi in my space, but in such a thick forest there isn't even a single spirit herb, therefore, there were only 2 possibilities. This forest was not rich in producing spirit herbs but to spirit herbs, as long as the spiritual qi reached a certain level and after a certain number of years, they would be able to grow. This mountain range had such thick spiritual qi, it was impossible that not even a single spirit herb existed. The other possibility was, someone took away all the spirit herbs from the roots. However, everyone was clear, if one were to pick spirit herbs, one should never uproot them. Otherwise, it might take hundreds or thousands of years to grow the spiritual herbs again, or they might never grow again. If one left behind the roots, it would only take a couple of years or a few decades before they would be ready for harvesting again. Mother, there really is no breath of any spirit herbs. I don't know why either. Little Qing Han stared blankly. Feng Ruqing sighed. Asking her anything was really pointless. Let's continue walking, we need to leave this place me for extra chapters. Mother, do you want to go and look for Aunt Jiyu? Little Qing Han asked as she blinked. Feng Ruqing frowned. Jiyu? What happened to her? Didn't the Jiyu family say that she has entered the secret realm and disappeared? Feng Ruqing was silent for a moment. Oh, I didn't hear of it. Since that is the case, let's just casually look for Jiyu. In the depths of the forest on the mountain. Crack. A whip heavily landed on the big rabbit's body. The big rabbit squeaked in pain and the divine spirit fruit rolled out of its hands, falling to the ground. You group of stupid spirit beasts. I have asked all of you to pay a tribute of 2 pieces of spirit herbs each year. What did you bring? A grade 1 spirit herb? Using this kind of thing to fool the Lord? With a sneer on his face, he stomped on the divine spirit fruit, causing it to be crushed, with juices flowing all over the floor. The fragrance diffused, causing the big rabbit's eyes to turn red, looking at the crushed divine spirit fruit sadly. Crack! The whip struck once again and the big rabbit's flesh ripped open, causing so much pain that its whole body was trembling as fresh blood flowed out. This is the price you pay for trying to fool me today. I want to let all the spirit beasts in the beast forest see it. Every single lash from the whip caused the big rabbit's body to shiver. It dared not evade, only making pleading sounds, hoping that the person in front of it would let her live. However, its begging and pitiful cries did not bring about mercy from that man. On the contrary, each lash became more violent and fierce. The big rabbit curled into a ball as if it had gotten used to the many years of bullying. Chapter 1027. The huge rabbit 3. Today was the day of tribute. It was not easy for it to obtain the 2 pieces of spirit herbs, but still, it could not avoid being beaten. When would this kind of days end? The big rabbit suddenly thought about the days before these people came into the beast forest. Originally the beast forest had blue skies and the air was exceptionally fresh. The big rabbit and its friends would run about in the grasslands, happy and blessed. Then, these people came. The beast forest was no longer peaceful since, as its friends were unable to bring spirit herbs as a tribute, they were either crippled or beaten to death. Now, was it also its turn? The surrounding spirit beasts could not bear to continue watching. Numerous panthers, snakes, tigers, foxes, all surrounded the place, growling. Why? Do you all want to rebel? The man sneered at the group of spirit beasts, smiling contemptuously at them. The price of your rebellion will simply be that the beast forest will cease to exist. Therefore, all of you better think it through. All the spirit beasts stopped in their tracks, glaring viciously at the man with their bloodshot eyes. These people have forced them for so many years. Threatened them for so many years. They had given up their freedom to protect their homes. However, spirit beasts were still not pets. If one managed to tame a spirit beast, it would be loyal to that person, and would even be willing to sacrifice its life for that person. If that person was unable to tame these spirit beasts, they were cruel animals. As long as there was a chance, they would definitely bite him, even if it meant they could never recover from the consequence. Even if it was a rabbit, when cornered, it would bite too. Perhaps it was because many of its friends had died, or perhaps it could no longer take this kind of persecution. The big rabbit finally stood up from the ground. With a red light flashing through its blue eyes, it fiercely rushed toward the man and bit his arm. This fierce bite had caused the flesh on his arm to be ripped off, leaving behind fresh blood, similarly carving the pain of its inner being on me for extra chapters. That was right. Since either way led to death, why should it quietly wait for its death? Why not just bite him? The man never thought that the gentle big rabbit would bite. The pain he felt was intense. With eyes filled with anger, the whip furiously lashed out once again, seeking death. The sharp wind caused the big rabbit to move back a few steps, but it did not regret. Its eyes contained a stubborn determination. They were filled with mockery. When the long whip landed, a panther rushed over, using its huge body to withstand the lash. The big rabbit's ability was considered weak. If the lash that contained spiritual chi landed on its body, it most definitely would have lost its life instantly. Before these enemies had arrived, there was constant fighting in the beast forest. The weak species were always the ones being bullied and sometimes were treated as food. However, when there was a foreign invader, they would naturally come together, working together to fight against foreign enemies. Not to mention, the spirit herbs in the beast forest have long been used up as tributes. This year, they could no longer find any spirit herbs. Some of the spirit beast ran to human territories in hopes of surviving, but ended up being caught and were turned into slaves. The source of the big rabbit's spirit herb was unknown, but it was all they had. Therefore, they would definitely be next in line to die if the big rabbit died. At the brink of death, a lot of the spirit beast could not be bothered to think of other matters. They only knew one thing: this time, they would no longer hold back or retreat. Never again would they allow these tyrannical people destroy their homes. Chapter 1028. The huge rabbit. For all of you really want to rebel. The man's eyes were cold, lifting his leg toward the fox who was running away. The fox quickly jumped up, avoiding the man's kick, and bit him with all its might. Its sharp teeth sank into the man's leg. The man was in intense pain, his eyes red as he angrily said, "Aren't you afraid that in a fit of anger, the Lord would annihilate your forest?" Growl. A fierce tiger approached the man, eyes flashing with a murderous glint. Countless persecution, countless mindless killings. Finally, these conservative and bullied spirit beasts understood. They could not protect their homes by just being weak and being afraid to fight. As long as they were unable to fulfill the wishes of mankind, they would die in the hands of these people, and they would be unable to protect their homes sooner or later. Since that was the case, why should they continue to be cowardly? Why should they continuously tolerate it? The man's face changed. With just his abilities, there was no way he would be able to defend against the spirit beasts once they go crazy. They had been docile for so many years. He had thought this group of spirit beasts were tame and would only follow the Lord's orders. Who would have known that they would suddenly go crazy? Furthermore, the big rabbit did not have good cultivation and it ate a lot. What was the point of keeping it? Such a weak little thing. It did not even have the qualifications to be the Lord's guard. All of you better stop. If you guys dare to touch me, the Lord will never let you all off. It hurt. A cat's claw made 5 long scratches on his body. It was so painful that he almost burst into tears. He said hoarsely, "You group of crazy idiots, you better stop. You just don't want to go and look for spirit herbs anymore, that's all, right? I'll forgive all of you for being lazy. As long as you hand in the spirit herbs after 3 months, that would suffice." Quickly, stop. For the crazed spirit beast, it was not so easy to recover their spiritual wisdom. Spirit beasts are naturally ferocious. This sentence was not without reason. It depended on how one drove them mad. For the spirit beasts that had gone mad, their eyes only contained murderous intent, and they only wanted to tear the man who bullied them into shred. Me for extra chapters. The man was shedding tears of regret. He could not understand why he insisted on obliterating the rabbit. However, he understood that regretting now was already too late because all the spirit beasts had already gone crazy. The spirit beasts pounced on the man, biting and devouring him as if they wanted to vent all the grievances they received all these years. The big rabbit's breath was already becoming weak. It had just endured numerous lashes and had used all of its strength to pounce and bite the man back. At this moment, it was lying on the ground, exhaling more than it was inhaling. Even if its life could be preserved this time, the babies in its womb would not be able to survive. The few rabbits that were left of the rabbit clan surrounded the big rabbit, whimpering and wailing, with tears pouring from their eyes. These rabbits were not as huge as the big rabbit, the small ones were only half its size. This showed that the big rabbit's cultivation and position within the rabbit clan were quite high. It was a pity, it was almost nearing its end. The big rabbit looked at the other rabbits reluctantly, wishing to reach its paw out to touch its subordinates around it, but it did not have the energy to even raise its paw. Inevitably, the big rabbit thought of the human lady who had given it the divine spirit fruit. That was the kindest lady it had ever met. Mankind was evil, but it was already desperate. If it could not bring out any spirit herb as tribute, it would have died for sure. Furthermore, that little lady next to the human had a breath that spirit beasts liked. That kind of breath was similar to that of a spirit herb. Therefore, it had mustered its courage to ask for the divine spirit fruit. Seeing its shameless action, she had actually handed over some divine spirit fruits. She really was the best person it had ever met. Chapter 1029. saving the rabbit eye in the dense forest. A young childish voice called out from the bushes, crisp and sweet. "Mother, this is the big rabbit that has cheated you of the divine spirit fruits. Is it dying? Then, does this mean I can eat barbecued rabbit meat?" Little Ching Han's fingers touched her lips, saliva almost drooling from her mouth. She stared at the big rabbit that was lying on the ground. When the big rabbit died, did it mean she could eat it whole? In the close vicinity, Feng Ruching followed the line of little Ching Han's eyes and saw the big rabbit whose body was covered with lashes from a whip. It was at its last breath and would die very soon. A few rabbits surrounded it, wailing and crying. Their voices were filled with distraught and everyone could feel it deeply. Besides that, countless spirit beasts were pouncing on a man's body. Their eyes were ferocious, angry, and fierce. It was as if they were venting out all their bottled-up anger. The man's clothes had already been torn to pieces, his body was covered in blood as he screamed hoarsely. Too bad, not a single spirit beast was willing to let him go. They had already decided to take his death lightly and could not wait to chew the man beneath them into pieces. They did not take the man's life instantly but rather tortured him slowly. It was unclear just how much resentment these spirit beasts were carrying for them to act so maliciously. From the slow devouring by the spirit beasts, the man was quickly dying. Even his begging had faded and he was quickly losing his breath. He never could have imagined that the spirit beasts would go crazy one day, nor did he thought that his life would be lost at the hands of these spirit beasts. When the man died, these spirit beasts slowly regained their calm. Perhaps it was because they had just killed a man. Their eyes still contained murderous intent and they started to slowly move from the man toward Feng Ruching. A female human? Humankind was never good news. They hated the human race. Because of these people, their homes were thrown into chaos. Me for extra chapters. All the spirit beasts surrounded Feng Ruching, their eyes red, throats making low growls as a sign of threat. If this human dared to take one step closer, her ending would be the same as the man. "Make way." Feng Ruching's face was indifferent. "If you don't want this rabbit to die, all of you better make way." The spirit beasts did not move but simply stood there looking at Feng Ruching in a hostile manner. Everything the humankind had done to the forest had made them unable to trust in these people. "Mother," little Ching Han bit her fingernails and turned toward Feng Ruching. "These spirit beasts are scolding you." Feng Ruching was speechless. "I heard them saying that all humans are bad guys. They would never trust anyone. They are too much. So, let's not care about the rabbit already. That way, she would have barbecued rabbit meat to eat." Feng Ruching looked down and stared at the extremely weak big rabbit and then at its stomach. "I am only going to say this for the last time. I can save it. Its babies are already gone. If I don't save it now, it will lose its life. If she had arrived earlier, perhaps the babies could still survive. However, when she had arrived, the babies had already died in the womb. There was no way." Spirit beasts were smarter than the average pets as these spirit beasts had regained their wisdom, but, even so, the spirit beast's intelligence was still limited. They had a one-tracked mind and were not flexible at all. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.